Have you ever wondered how you can tell when someone is nearing the end of their life? It's a tough, uncomfortable thought for anyone to entertain, but it's also important, especially as we grow older. Knowing the signs can not only help you prepare, but also empower you to make the most out of the time you have. In today's video, we'll dive into the 5 key warning signs that might suggest a senior is nearing their final year. Recognizing these signs early can help you take action to improve quality of life, make necessary health decisions, and offer support during challenging times. Before we begin, let me remind you that we're talking about the natural aging process. These signs are often indicators of the body slowing down, but they don't necessarily mean an immediate end. Every individual is different, and what's important is knowing what changes to look for and how to care for our loved ones or ourselves in those moments. Let's start with the first sign: unexplained weight loss. We all know that our metabolism changes as we age, and many of us might experience some changes in weight here and there. But if the weight loss is rapid, consistent, or unexplained, this can be a critical sign that something is off with the body's ability to absorb nutrients. It could be a sign of a chronic illness, a digestive problem, or even a decrease in appetite due to physical or emotional factors. In practical terms, it's important to track weight regularly and look for patterns. If you or your loved one is losing weight without trying to, it's worth scheduling a doctor's visit. Sometimes it's as simple as needing a change in diet or supplements to improve overall health. If the weight loss is more severe, it could be time to look into further tests to rule out things like cancer, heart disease, or other conditions that might be draining energy. A real-life example comes to mind. My grandmother at one point started losing weight, and we couldn't figure out why. She didn't seem sick, but she had lost a noticeable amount of weight. It turned out that her thyroid levels were out of balance. After some adjustments, her weight stabilized and her energy levels went up. This just goes to show that weight changes, though alarming, can sometimes be addressed with the right medical guidance. The next important sign is increased fatigue. We all feel tired from time to time, but when it becomes constant, it could be an indicator that something's wrong. It's natural for energy levels to dip as we age, but profound, persistent fatigue could point to underlying health issues like heart disease, anemia, or even depression. If you notice that you or a loved one is consistently drained, even after a full night's sleep, it's time to look at lifestyle habits. Are they eating well? Are they staying active, even lightly? Sometimes even mild exercise like walking can make a big difference in energy levels. Another important factor is sleep. If sleep quality is poor, it can lead to feeling worn out during the day. Making sleep a priority and creating a soothing bedtime routine could help a lot. Lastly, let's touch on declining cognitive function. While a little forgetfulness can be a normal part of aging, significant memory problems, confusion, or difficulty processing information can be red flags. This doesn't just refer to Alzheimer's or dementia, but to any condition that might affect cognitive abilities. I have a dear friend who took care of her father, who began showing signs of confusion. It wasn't immediately alarming, but as it continued, she realized it was more than just forgetfulness. After seeing a doctor, they learned he was dealing with early-stage dementia. Knowing this allowed them to adjust their daily routine and provide the necessary care before things worsened. It made a huge difference in his quality of life. If you're still with me, comment 1 below. I'd love to hear your thoughts so far. Now that we've discussed the first few signs, let's move on to the next indicators. One that many people overlook is changes in breathing patterns. This might seem like an odd one to mention, but it's actually a key indicator that the body is starting to struggle. As we age, our respiratory system weakens, and it can become harder to take deep breaths, leading to shallow breathing or rapid breathing. If you notice that someone is more out of breath after activities they once managed easily, or if they seem to be breathing with difficulty even when resting, this could be a sign of a cardiovascular issue or a respiratory condition like COPD or heart failure. Sometimes it's as simple as getting a bit winded after a walk, but if it's chronic or worsening, it's worth getting it checked out. If there's a consistent struggle with breathing, there are treatments available, and doctors can help to manage the condition. For instance, I had a friend's aunt who started having trouble catching her breath while walking short distances. She wasn't doing anything too strenuous, but it was still a concern. She had a checkup, and it turned out that her heart wasn't pumping as efficiently as it used to. Thanks to early intervention, she was able to manage it with medication and adjustments to her lifestyle. The next sign to watch for is loss of interest in social activities or hobbies. We've all heard how important it is to stay social and mentally engaged as we age, but sometimes this can become a challenge. Seniors who withdraw from social activities, family events, or hobbies they once loved might be experiencing a change in their physical or mental health. This could also be a sign of depression, which is not uncommon in the elderly. I recall a neighbor who had always been active in her church group and social events. But over time, she started canceling plans, saying she just didn't feel like going. At first, it seemed like just a minor change, but after talking with her, it became clear that she was struggling with some deep feelings of loneliness and sadness. With a bit of encouragement, she sought help, and gradually, she felt better, reconnecting with people and her interests. It was a reminder that emotional well-being is just as important as physical health. Finally, we'll talk about changes in skin appearance and wounds healing slower than usual. The skin is the body's largest organ, and it's often one of the first to show signs of aging. Thin, fragile skin is common in seniors, and so are bruises and wounds that heal more slowly. If you or someone you know is experiencing skin issues that don't seem to improve, it might be time to pay attention to their overall health. A friend of mine had an elderly relative who seemed to bruise easily and had trouble healing from even minor cuts. After a few tests, it turned out that the issue was related to vitamin deficiencies and poor circulation. Adjusting the diet, along with a few lifestyle changes, helped her regain some strength and improved her skin's ability to heal. If you're still with me, comment below. Let me know your thoughts. We're nearing the end of our discussion on warning signs to look out for. Let's talk about changes in speech patterns or difficulty swallowing. If you or someone you know starts to struggle with their speech or has difficulty swallowing, it could indicate problems with the nervous system or muscles that control those functions. It could be a sign of a stroke, neurological disorder, or even a sign that the body is starting to lose its ability to swallow food safely. My great-aunt experienced this, and it was a gradual process. She first had trouble speaking clearly and then began to choke more often while eating. A visit to the doctor revealed that it was related to a neurological issue. Though it was tough to hear, knowing the cause helped us make the necessary adjustments, like switching to softer foods and communicating more clearly, making her feel safer and more comfortable. Lastly, poor sleep patterns are another critical sign to consider. As we age, our sleep patterns often change. But when those changes become more disruptive, it's important to investigate. Difficulty falling asleep, waking up frequently during the night, or waking up feeling unrested could all point to conditions like sleep apnea, depression, or even more severe health concerns. A family member of mine had trouble sleeping for years, and it started impacting her energy and mood. After a sleep study, it was determined that sleep apnea was the culprit. Once treated, her energy improved, and she felt like a new person. To wrap up, Recognizing these signs can help us care for ourselves and our loved ones in the best way possible. Aging is a natural part of life, but knowing the signs that indicate a decline can help us take proactive steps to ensure quality of life. If you've made it to the end, comment "Done" below. Let me know what you think and if you found this helpful. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with anyone who might need this information. We're all in this together.